I hope you had a great Madaraka Day yesterday. Under the circumstances we live in this country called Kenya, I hope you found time to touch base with those in your life that matter, those who are dear to you. Especially because, in case you didn't know, we were passing through that period referred to as the calm before the storm. And this period is coming to a very abrupt end very soon. A very warm welcome to my show today, where we're going to attempt to understand this month we've entered, this month of June, the 6th month of the year. What exactly is the mystery behind what we saw in Homa Bay at the Raila Odinga Stadium, where people started streaming in the night before, so much so that the stadium was packed by 9 p.m. at night for a function that was due to start the next day. In other words, people spend the night there. Think about it. Were all those people flocking there waiting to see President William Samoei Ruto? Were they? Believe it or not, there was a message there, and I'm afraid it is not a good message. It is an airy, chilling message. More so because the Madaraka Day celebrations in other counties right across the country had a situation where officials, mostly government officials, were addressing empty chairs, empty stadiums. Kenyans were not there. So that is a mystery we have to unpack and understand in our big effort today to understand the month called June and what is going to come within no time in very rapid succession, so that by the time we are seeing the tail end of this month, Kenya will be a very different country. Let us begin by understanding the mood of the Kenyan people right now, which will greatly dictate what unfolds in our country in this month. And this can be best summarized with just one word: desperation. Kenyans are in that place where it is just desperation over what has happened, over what is happening, and over the loss of something very important in this life called hope for tomorrow, hope for the future. That is precisely where we are as a country in terms of mood. And in my opinion, the large mammoth crowd in Homa Bay was a very clear indicator of precisely this. Consider the following. Those Kenyans had no better place to be than to sleep at that stadium, to brave the night and all the challenges of the night, to wait in desperate anticipation of something good, something better coming after Madaraka Day 2025. I hope you see that this is a very dangerous situation, a very dangerous place for a country to be in, because it means patience is running thin. Many in that crowd were hoping against hope that Raila Odinga would come and tell them the way forward and point them very close to Canaan, the promised land. And we all know that did not happen. That was not going to happen. And what must follow is the stark reality, the realization that we are on our own. Period. We are on our own. Nobody is coming to save us. That was the very clear message from the empty stadiums, the empty grounds countrywide, as Kenyans were due to celebrate one of the most important national holidays, and Homa Bay was just playing catch-up to that harsh reality. And of course those who govern Kenya have no clue, because the government does not want people to discuss Finance Bill 2025. The government does not want this upcoming finance bill to go through any close scrutiny by Kenyans. And this is why an activist was arrested and is still behind bars. Their crime? Launching a website to discuss this Finance Bill 2025, where taxes are going up and where the value-added tax net is going to spread far and wide, and touch on vital products and services that were exempt. And of course there was a very good reason to exempt those services and products from VAT, but now they're going to be included. Indeed, I want to side with those experts who are saying Finance Bill 2025 is worse than the aborted Finance Bill 2024. Clearly, it is the opinion of those who govern this country that Kenyans still have room to bear. Kenyans still have space to play around with and to take in the massive blows of taxes and a very crazy economy, of a very dead economy that is still dying. Bila kizungu mingi, June is going to be a very chaotic month. June is going to be the month where Kenyans are in that place, the ordinary Kenyan, they're in that place where they have nothing to lose. And I think we all know how deadly that can be. This is the time where your preparations for this, because we talked about this a long time ago, this is the time where your preparations for this period, this dark period, will be tested to see whether they were adequate or not. And if you have not been preparing, I would strongly advise that you brace yourself. Prepare what you can prepare for what is coming in the month of June. And because we are on our own, we need to adjust and learn how to operate in a dead economy. We don't have a choice, because there's no new government coming immediately that will make things better. No way. There is no politician, even your favorite politician, who is coming to save the day. There is nothing like that. We are on our own, and we have no option but to adjust and learn how to live through. And for those who can dare think a little bigger, even thrive in the chaos, we really don't have any other option as Kenyans. In this month of June, I see the Gen Zs back on the streets, but this time round, not on their own. This time round accompanied by huge masses of other Kenyans right across the board, from the older to the even much older. 2025 is actually a replay of the year 1992, only more intense. If you can go back in history and check what happened in the year 1992, you will understand the year 2025, and you will understand perfectly the month of June, where all these crazy things are going to start. Because there is nothing in this world that is more dangerous than a people who have lost hope. Indeed, June 2024, June 25th, 2024, was about a people who have lost all hope and therefore have nothing more to lose. That is exactly what it was all about. The storming of Parliament. You know, today, before I came in to make this recording, I tried very hard to look for something positive in our politics. I tried very, very hard, and I failed in a spectacular way. There is absolutely nothing positive in our politics. Nothing positive that will come out of our politicians. The only positive light at the end of the tunnel is you, the individual Kenyan, and what you're going to do going forward. What you're going to do to adjust to the new way of life. So here are my hot tips for the month of June. Number 1, stay away from crowds as much as possible. Why? Because the moods of crowds in the country called Kenya in this month will be completely unpredictable, and things can go south very quickly. Stay away from large crowds, even small crowds. Stay away as much as possible from them. Number 2, find a way to monitor and keep track of the location and the status of all your loved ones throughout the day. Very important. And it is not so difficult to do, thanks to technology. Number 3, adjust the way you work. Completely change it if you can. If the kind of work you do can be done remotely, favor that one greatly, and prepare to work from anywhere at any time, and especially prepare to make last-minute changes and adjustments as to where you're going to do your work on any particular day, of course judging by circumstances on the ground and how they have changed. Greatly favor Zoom meetings and meetings that you can hold, business meetings, where you don't necessarily have to appear physically, in person. I guarantee you those will be much more productive, because life has to continue. Life has to go on. There is really no other option. You have to continue in your efforts to put food on the table for yourself and your loved ones. And for those doing business, you have no option but to find a brand new way of doing your business, taking into full consideration the chaos that will be unfolding in our country going forward. And of course that includes decisions, business decisions and moves you make. You know, in the year 2019, something very interesting happened to me. I got this push, this inner force that I could not ignore, to research and put together a blueprint of how to do business in a dead economy, in a very dead economy. And actually looking back at that time, things were good. Things were still working. Things were still moving. There were very many ways still of generating income in this economy. Today, the situation is very different. But it is not impossible to actually thrive in such a situation. As I concluded in this blueprint, which some of you have already taken in, and many of you have gotten back to me, and you have indicated that it helped you to adjust. It helped you to face the new reality that is Kenya. A reality that we must face, because one cannot give up. Now you can see details on your screens right now. In case you missed this valuable piece of information, you can get it right away. This is a set of videos complete with ebooks that will be invaluable in helping you to deal with what is coming, indeed what is already here. Okay? Of course, we're living in the information age, and one of the huge advantages is that you can do your own research, put together your own blueprint on how you're going to deal with this period in our history. That is very possible. However, if you're pressed for time, or at least you want to get some very strong guidance and hot tips on which direction you're going to go into, where your specific business or what you do is concerned, then I highly recommend this valuable piece of information. for only Kenya shillings 4,999, you can have it pop in your inbox. And even use your time today, because it is a public holiday, to prepare for what is coming. Full details are on your screens right now. Yeah, use them and get this information. It is also true that there are very many of us who at this particular point in time are looking to sell their property to at least raise some funds to see what to do next. You know, we are very fortunate to have a very valuable resource on this channel where you can be able to reach the kind of people who may be interested in your property. We have had great success over a long period of time, mainly because of our audience, the kind of people who take in videos on this channel. It is clear that we have a lot of those people who are looking for such opportunities. Yeah, and therefore we'll be able to get the kind of exposure that may be very difficult to find anywhere else. I believe you can see our very reasonable rates for sponsoring a video and getting this information out on exactly what kind of property you have and what you're asking for it. Friends, please, let us not be caught off guard. Let us prepare, because I believe the writing is on the wall. Even if you did not take in the contents of my video today, I believe the writing is on the wall. The signs are all there for us to see very clearly. Bottom line, we are on our own, and only we can help ourselves. Nobody else is coming from anywhere to help us. You know, you can't blame people for getting very angry and indeed for becoming emotional messes. You can't blame people for that. However, I strongly believe it would be much better, much more productive for you, for me, to take action instead, even as we try our best to suppress our strong emotions, although we are being provoked every other minute, every other day. But we don't have a choice. We are on our own and we need to do something. And please, let us not lose hope. Yeah, a better Kenya is coming, but then we cannot avoid the painful birth pangs. You know, giving birth is not a joke, as our sisters will tell us. However, after all the blood and the pain comes joy. Joy that is difficult to describe. All the best and all for a better Kenya. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.